If you are a celebrity in modern-day Russia, then you pretty much have to be Z. Artists, comedians, and actors who oppose the war in Ukraine and the Russian governments get all of their concerts and advertisements completely cancelled in Russia, and most of the time are forced to leave the country. However, some Russian celebrities actually managed to uncancel themselves, basically by becoming Z and either making some sort of patriotic music or by visiting or performing in the Donbass, essentially to get their career back. And this actually has worked for a few. For example, the Russian singer Sergei Lazarev initially spoke out against the war, however, later appeared in Russian propaganda and also made music together with Shaman, the biggest Z singer that exists today. Or for example, the leader of the rock group ZOVer also had anti-war views but ended up visiting and performing for our boys on the front line in order to get his career back. However, now this does not work anymore because we've reached a time where now in Russia, even cancelled celebrities who actively try to support the government and essentially go Z in order to get their career back get destroyed anyway despite their attempts to get uncancelled, simply because too many people started doing it and now nobody believes them.
Приезжают в Донецк, чтобы обелить свою честь. Да вы чё, блядь? Ну тебя алло!
What is up guys, it is your boy Roman, your favorite neighborhood Russian, and in today's video, we're gonna be talking about what's happening in the Russian show business and also why it's absolutely ZOVer for Russian celebrities. So, first of all, I would like to talk about the case of Nastya Ivleeva, a famous Russian influencer, TV host, etc., who essentially did a little oopsie in December of 2023 when she organized the now infamous Russian almost naked celebrity party, which was basically a private party in Russia with the almost naked dress code, which was attended by a ton of Russian celebrities, actors, singers, influencers, artists, etc. And what happened is that this party drew the attention of the governments. And basically every single person that participated in this party, even including the club, got into very deep trouble. For example, the Russian rapper Vasyo, who was absolutely naked at the party and was wearing only a sock over his
male organ,
ended up essentially being sent to the army by the Russian government as a punishment. Nastya Ivleeva herself, the organizer, is currently getting sued for billions of rubles, got basically completely cancelled and dropped from everything, and the same actually happened to every other celebrity that went to this party. And essentially most of these celebrities had to drop these sort of apology videos in which they apologize to the people of Russia for this terrible debauchery and, awful degenerate events that, they dare to throw in the times when our boys are defending the motherland and everything. Basically, the story is completely insane. I have two separate videos that I dropped on this now. You guys should check it out. But basically, Nastya Ivleeva also went Z in order to try to save her career. First of all, she completely stopped posting normal updates or any sort of normal content. And the only things that she posted after her apology for the party, she's posted about her condolences to the civilians of Belgorod, to the civilians of Donetsk. She also congratulated all the soldiers of Russia with the Day of the Defenders of the Fatherland, which is like a real holiday in Russia, by the way. Then in the next post, she essentially endorsed Vladimir Putin and said that she watched his address to the people of Russia and she's saying that she wants to vote for these policies. And she's also dropped this picture right here of her coming in to vote in the Russian election, of course, for Vladimir Putin, as she's publicly stated. And then she, of course, posted about the Crocus City Hall attack that happened in Russia. And here comes the punchline, you guys, because even after all these things that Nastya has done, even after trying her hardest to appear Z, Nastya Ivleeva has just been charged with discrediting the armed forces of the Russian Federation, which is essentially a new law in Russia that came out in March of 2022, basically banning free speech about the war. And supposedly the reason why she's currently being investigated for discrediting the armed forces of Russia is because on the 24th of February, she posted a black square and this, saying no to war. And also she's done another post here in which she's essentially said that she wants Russia and Ukraine to work for peace or whatever. So yes, she's currently being investigated and is, in trouble with the law for these old posts, even though she's tried her hardest to essentially bootleg the government and, basically begging for their forgiveness, right? And still, they don't care.
Все равно
Мне абсолютно безразлично.
Especially considering how Nastya Ivleeva has a history of being a fan of Alexei Navalny. She's publicly voiced support for him before, so I think this right here shows us that if you go Z to get uncancelled, so they don't even believe you anymore. The next person I would like to mention is Philipp Kirkorov, a legendary Russian singer, who was also, by chance, present at this exact almost naked party that Nastya Ivleeva organized, and he also wore a very revealing outfit and everything, and obviously, he got completely cancelled off everything, cut out of movies, and he also obviously immediately dropped an apology video saying that, what he did was terrible, and that he essentially ended up at the party by accident.
Вот так заглянул на 5 минут на мероприятие. Бывают моменты, когда зашел не в ту дверь.
And afterwards, he's also, of course, as they usually do, visited Donbass and performed in front of I don't know, some sort of orphans in Donbass or something. And what happened to Kirkorov also is that a lot of Russian propaganda pundits talk about how he should not be forgiven. But essentially, he's slowly coming back to TV now, but in a sort of an embarrassing, humiliating role of a sort of a harlequin or like a clown. Let's check out a video.
Я зашел туда всего на 5 минут. Пусть вошел я не в те двери в моей творческой карьере, но зашел туда всего на 5 минут. 40 лет был мой путь, стал я кем-то вроде Бога, заняла лишь 5 минут вся обратная дорога.
So yes, essentially he's humiliated himself. And people talk about Hollywood humiliation rituals. Meanwhile, this shit is happening in Russia. This is real. And of course, yes, it's hilarious. The audience and, whatever, the judges of the show, right? Yes, they're laughing. They're laughing at the fact that in modern Russia, if you have a normal private party with a slightly zesty dressing code, which is nothing out of the ordinary for Russia, yes, it is very hilarious that taking part in something that was completely normal a few years ago in Russia and is completely normal in most of the world means that you have to, get your entire career destroyed immediately. And yes, very funny, guys. Но хорошо смеется тот, кто смеется последним. Now the next story that I want to tell you guys about in this video is by far my favorite because it is absolutely fucking ridiculous. Essentially it's about this guy Dmitry Portnyagin, who is also known under the nickname Transformator, which basically means transformer in Russian.
Трансгендеров, трансформаторов, много всяких названий.
Essentially, to put it short, this guy is like a crypto bro, finance bro,
self-improvement type guy who sells courses on how to become rich and everything.
Essentially, he's a scammer. This kind of thing is pretty huge in Russia, and Russia has actually started cracking down on it quite recently. And essentially what happened is that this dude right here had a criminal case started against him for money laundering and tax evasion for not paying 124 million rubles in taxes. But what happened is that this guy did not get arrested immediately, but instead on his Instagram right here, which is, otherwise pretty normal, he's in Dubai, he suddenly posted this video right here. Let's check it out.
Привет, меня зовут Дмитрий Порtnyagin. Я сейчас нахожусь в зоне специальной военной операции. В моем доме прошли обыски. Моя супруга задержана. Заведено уголовное дело по статье о налоговых преступлениях. Во-первых, все тело налогового долга было давно закрыто, около полугода назад. Если кто-то захотел ускорить этот процесс, без проблем, мы сегодня это сделаем. Я не для этого возвращался в Россию, чтобы снова куда-то уезжать. Мы продолжаем гуманитарную помощь. Моя команда уже 8 раз была здесь с нашим фондом. Я сюда приехал для того, чтобы все увидеть своими глазами. Ребят спросить, что конкретно нужно, какая нужна помощь. Я никуда не собираюсь уезжать, никуда не собираюсь убегать. Мое дело, моя семья, мой дом находится в России.
So yes, guys, before I say anything, basically, spoiler alert, guys, he was arrested the next day after posting that video. And essentially, he's currently going to be in pre-trial detention, possibly facing jail time, obviously. I'm just saying, his Instagram doesn't really look like the Instagram of the person who's, constantly in Donbass, supporting Z and everything. No, it looks more like he's wearing Balenciaga in Dubai, to me. You know what I'm saying? And now suddenly, one day before he got arrested, he came out with this random video of himself suddenly saying that, hey guys, I've been actually fighting in the Russian army actually this entire time, and I've been here for 8 times, and I've been doing all this great stuff. I've been Z as hell. So, yes, I do know that, the governments and the IRS basically is looking out for me. However, guys, I'm just out here, on the front line. Let me just do my thing and then we'll figure it out, right, guys? Gets arrested the next day. I love it. I love it. Again, like, what the fuck is going on in Russia? What is this? If not like a last-minute, desperate attempt when this guy was like, basically, fuck, they're on my ass, they're gonna arrest me like tomorrow. I've gotta do something. I've gotta come up with something to save my ass right now, because I can't leave the country. I guess I'm gonna join the army. Or pretend to. I don't even know what he's doing. Fuck. Sometimes people just amaze me, man. Jesus Christ. So yes, guys, this is absolutely genius. The guy basically tried to avoid prison by becoming Z. And yes, it is too sad that it didn't end well for him, but now I do think that he actually will have better luck becoming a soldier now that he actually will be locked up in prison. You know what I'm saying? And now I want to mention the last case for today, which is very similar, the case of Yelena Blinovskaya and her husbands. Now, Yelena Blinovskaya is basically the same as the last guy except a female version. She basically preys on lonely women, divorced women. She talks about self-improvements and all these money, energy, fucking galaxy, universe meditations for women or whatever. She charges insane money for bullshit courses, for bullshit you can just freely find on the internet. Essentially just one another scammer in Russia that preys on lonely people. And well, she was absolutely fucking huge. She was one of the biggest influencers in Russia, making absolutely insane money, absolutely insane luxury when her apartment actually got raided. Yes, spoiler alert, this is the reason why I'm saying was in past tense, is because this lady is actually currently under investigation for pretty much the same things, fraud, money laundering, but she's built a little different because she actually has 1.4 billion rubles in unpaid taxes. I also have a whole video on this channel which I made talking about the case of Blinovskaya and other similar people like her. You should check it out, it's pretty good. But basically, well, this lady Blinovskaya is currently facing 16 years in prison in Russia. And essentially what happened is that her husband and business partner, Alexei Blinovsky, has announced that he has essentially joined the Russian army in the special military operation in order to quote-unquote rebuild his good name and his good reputation. Basically because both of them are in deep shit. He's completely bankrupt, all of his businesses are being closed, and supposedly there he is currently serving in the Russian army somewhere on the front line, and yes, he's out there, you know, being Z. Yeah, you know, doing his thing right here, with the goal, once again, to clear his name and also improve his reputation, and also somehow he's trying to get his wife out of prison with all of this. I mean, guys, that is just absolutely insane to me. The fact that you can just be like a fraudster, a scammer, a person who just rips people off and makes billions off of it for years and years. And then essentially that person can go join the Russian army to partake in a special military operation. And they're basically expecting to figure out their legal troubles by doing that. Once again, guys, Russia, the gift that keeps on giving. Like, you cannot come up with this shit. I mean, look, technically you could say that, at least maybe for him, this is working, you know, being Z, because he's currently not going to prison, he's currently, you know, on the front line instead. But guys, honestly, I really don't think this is gonna help to get Blinovskaya out of prison, because first of all, everybody in Russia fucking hates her, that wouldn't even make sense. And really, nobody gives a fuck about you going to join the Z army, because nobody cares about you. But it's working for him, you know? I guess if you consider, you know, a situation where your wife is in prison for 16 years and you're on the front line every day facing, you know, sudden death, and you know, your children are basically facing the possibility of losing their parents, yes, epic win. It is definitely working. Keep doing it, guys. Keep going Z in order to try to get uncancelled. It is clearly working really well. So yes, guys, we basically have reached a point now in Russia with the censorship and free speech where basically every celebrity, any person in show business is now forced to comply with what the government wants. They're forced to either spread the government's message or just forced to completely shut up. And the Russian government is looking every day for chances to basically cancel any celebrity, to make an example out of them so that other celebrities know how to behave. But also now, these, you know, sudden shows of loyalty and, you know, Z-ness and love for the motherland, like, you know, what's happening with Nastya Ivleeva, for example, it doesn't really work anymore to get your career back because it is just looked at as fake because too many people have tried it now. And especially if the person has a history of having, you know, public opinions that oppose the government, if the person has history of voicing public support for Alexei Navalny also, like Nastya Ivleeva does, they will also consider that fake and they will not let you off the hook. And yes guys, it is quite hilarious that we're in a situation currently in my country of Russia, in order to get yourself uncancelled for doing something completely normal and ordinary, right? You have to essentially go and kill people and wash away your sins that way. And it's insane that this has become such a trite method of public retribution at this point that even the government at this point realizes that everybody is just doing this now and they cannot forgive everybody because somebody has to go down. And somebody has to be made an example of. So yes, basically guys, there is less and less place for anti-war celebrities today in Russia, or there is none, I should say. Once again, every celebrity that speaks out against the war, or speaks out against the governments, they either have to leave, or they either have to shut up and just completely disappear, or they have to try to once again win the government's approval back by showing all this fake Z loyalty, but once again, it seems like it's no longer working, so that is precisely why I think it is completely ZOVer for Russian celebrities. But yeah guys, I guess that is going to be pretty much it for today's video though. If you guys did enjoy it, then please make sure to slap the like button on it. Hopefully this video was entertaining, and if you guys do like what I do in this channel, and if you want to support me additionally, then you can go over to the link down in the description and become a YouTube member. It's basically like YouTube's own version of Patreon, and it's the best way to support me. It's a monthly donation type thing. Or if you'd like to do a one-time donation, you can use super thanks underneath this video. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.